If you are looking for some great RPG games to get soaked in the world for hours doing side quests and random activities, so this list is for you. Let's look at the first game on our list. Baldur's Gate 3. Alright, let's chat about Baldur's Gate 3, a legendary action RPG you need to experience. Developed by Larian Studios and released in 2023, this game is all about epic adventures and making choices that shape your story. You play as a hero caught up in a big, magical conflict. Imagine diving into a world full of magic, monsters, and mystery. The graphics are top-notch, making every location from dark dungeons to lush forests look amazing. The story is epic and lets you make important decisions. You can shape your character's path with the choices you make, which affect how the story unfolds. There are tons of interesting characters to meet and recruit to your party, each with their own unique stories.
Queen watches us. Fail her at your peril.
Combat in Baldur's Gate 3 is turn-based and strategic. You need to think carefully about your moves and use your abilities wisely. It's challenging but super rewarding when you figure out the best strategies. What makes Baldur's Gate 3 special is its depth and detail. The game feels like a living, breathing world where your actions matter. You can interact with almost everything, and there are endless ways to play and explore. For me, playing Baldur's Gate 3 is like being the hero in a grand fantasy adventure. The story, the characters, and the gameplay all come together to create an unforgettable experience. If you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, you're in for a treat. It's a must-play for anyone who loves RPGs and epic stories. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Alright, let's talk about The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, a legendary action RPG you absolutely need to experience. Developed by CD Projekt Red and released in 2015, this game is all about adventure, magic, and tough choices. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter searching for his adopted daughter, Ciri. Imagine exploring a massive open world filled with beautiful landscapes from dense forests to bustling cities. The graphics are stunning, making every location feel alive and immersive. The story is a huge highlight. It's deep and complex, with branching paths based on your decisions. You'll meet memorable characters, each with their own stories and problems. The main quest is gripping, but the side quests are just as engaging, often feeling like mini stories of their own.
Murder Chloe. Vampire.
Combat in The Witcher 3 is fun and challenging. You have swords, magic, and potions to help you take down all kinds of monsters. Each fight requires strategy and skill, making victories feel rewarding. What makes The Witcher 3 special is the detail and care put into its world and story. Every character, every quest feels meaningful. The game also has two fantastic expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, which add even more adventures.
Let me finish telling it.
Fallout New Vegas. Alright, let's dive into Fallout New Vegas, a legendary action RPG that you've got to experience. Developed by Obsidian Entertainment and released in 2010, this game throws you into a post-apocalyptic world full of adventure, danger, and tough choices. You play as a courier left for dead in the desert, out to find your attackers and uncover a bigger conspiracy. You exploring a vast wasteland filled with ruined cities, desert landscapes, and quirky towns. The graphics may be a bit dated, but the world feels alive and rich with detail. The story in Fallout New Vegas is fantastic. You're free to make choices that affect how the game unfolds. You can ally with different factions, each with their own goals and philosophies, or go your own way. The characters you meet are memorable, from quirky companions to powerful leaders. Combat is fun and varied. You have a mix of guns, melee weapons, and even some weird sci-fi gadgets. The VAT system lets you target specific parts of enemies, adding a strategic element to fights. What makes Fallout New Vegas special is its depth and freedom. The game lets you play how you want. Whether you're a hero, a villain, or something in between, the world reacts to your choices. There's also a ton of side quests and secrets to discover, making every playthrough feel fresh. For me, playing Fallout New Vegas is like stepping into a wild, unpredictable adventure. The story is gripping, the world is immersive, and the freedom to make your own path is incredibly satisfying. If you haven't played Fallout New Vegas yet, you're missing out on one of the best RPGs ever made. It's a must-play for any fan of the genre. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Alright, let's dive into Mass Effect Legendary Edition, a must-play for any RPG fan. Released by BioWare in 2021, this collection brings together the epic story of Commander Shepard and his crew in one amazing package. Picture this: you're exploring the galaxy, hopping from one star system to another, meeting strange aliens, and making decisions that affect the fate of the universe. The graphics have been updated, so the worlds and characters look better than ever. The story is what makes Mass Effect Legendary Edition truly special. You get to play as Commander Shepard, an intergalactic hero tasked with saving the galaxy from a looming threat. Your choices shape the story in big ways. Do you make friends or enemies? Do you follow the rules or break them? Every decision matters and impacts how the story unfolds. Combat in this game is a mix of strategy and action. You can customize your squad, choose your weapons, and use special powers in battle. It's all about finding the right balance and using your team's strengths to overcome challenges. What makes this edition stand out is the way it bundles together the original Mass Effect trilogy with improved graphics, better gameplay tweaks, and all the DLC. It's like getting a supersized version of an epic space opera. You get to experience the full journey of Shepard with all the highs and lows. For me, playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition is like diving into a huge immersive space adventure where you get to be the hero. The characters are memorable, the story is gripping, and the choices you make are incredibly impactful. If you haven't played it yet, you're in for a treat. This game is a must experience for any fan of epic sci-fi RPGs. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Alright, let's get into Yakuza Like a Dragon, a game that's an absolute blast from start to finish. Released by Sega in 2020, this one takes the Yakuza series in a new direction, and it's seriously worth your time. So, picture this: you're Ichiban Kasuga, a dude who's just gotten out of prison after taking the fall for a crime he didn't commit. Life's looking pretty rough until he gets tossed into the wild streets of Yokohama. It's like he's trying to start over, but the world's got other plans. What's super cool about this game is the shift to turn-based combat. If you've played the older Yakuza games, you know they were all about real-time brawling. But now, it's all about planning your moves and watching Ichiban and his crew pull off some seriously wild attacks. It's like watching a live-action RPG battle unfold right in front of you. The city of Yokohama is like a playground of crazy side quests. From managing a business empire to singing your heart out in karaoke, there's never a dull moment. And the characters? Oh man, Ichiban's gang is a motley crew of lovable misfits who'll make you laugh, cry, and cheer them on. The story's got its serious moments, but it's balanced out with some really quirky and funny stuff. Ichiban's passion to become a hero and his heart of gold make you root for him from the start. The game feels like a mix of epic drama and wacky fun.
With the right friends?
Playing Yakuza Like a Dragon is like jumping into a crazy, heartfelt adventure where you never know what's coming next. It's got the perfect blend of epic storytelling and offbeat humor. If you're up for a game that's as wild as it is heartfelt, give it a go. You won't regret it. Disco Elysium.
You can handle it.
Let's dive into Disco Elysium, a game that's like no other. Released in 2019, this one's a real gem if you're into deep stories and complex characters. So, you're a detective who's just woken up with a massive hangover, a pile of regrets, and no memory of who you are. Welcome to Rivakul, a city that's as gritty and messed up as your detective skills are rusty. You've got to piece together your past while solving a murder that's hanging over the city like a dark cloud. What makes Disco Elysium stand out is its focus on dialogue and choices. Forget about traditional combat. This game is all about talking, thinking, and making decisions. You'll be rolling dice, managing skills, and trying to make sense of a world that's as twisted as it is fascinating.
Yes, I'm going to unplug the microphone, okay?
The writing in this game is top-notch. It's like reading a really good novel filled with sharp, witty, and often darkly humorous lines. The characters you meet are rich and layered, and the story is full of surprises. The city of Rivakul feels alive, with every corner revealing a new piece of the puzzle. What's also cool is how you can shape your character's personality and abilities. You can choose to be a hard-boiled detective or a more unconventional thinker. Your choices affect how the story unfolds and how the characters react to you. Playing Disco Elysium is like getting lost in a noir novel where you're the main character. The depth of the story and the unique approach to gameplay make it an unforgettable experience. If you haven't checked it out yet, dive in and get ready for a deep, engaging adventure that'll keep you thinking long after you've put the game down. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Alright, let's talk about Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Released by Ubisoft in 2018, this game throws you into the heart of ancient Greece, and it's a wild ride from start to finish. You're playing as either Alexios or Cassandra, two mercenaries caught up in a grand adventure during the Peloponnesian War. The game kicks off with you being on a quest for your long-lost family, but things quickly spiral into a massive story involving gods, monsters, and political intrigue. Imagine exploring a beautiful open world that's packed with stunning landscapes from sun-soaked islands to towering cities. The graphics really make ancient Greece come alive, and you'll find yourself just wanting to soak it all in.
Should never be open.
What's really cool about Odyssey is the way it lets you shape your story. Your choices in dialogue and decisions have a big impact on the game's outcome. You'll build relationships with various characters, and those interactions can lead to different story paths and endings. Playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey feels like stepping into an epic historical drama where you're the hero. The combination of a beautiful world, deep story, and customizable gameplay makes it a standout experience. If you haven't jumped into this adventure yet, you're in for a treat. It's a must-play for anyone who loves epic tales and exploring ancient worlds. Dragon Age Inquisition. So Dragon Age Inquisition is pretty epic. You play as the Inquisitor, tasked with saving the world from a massive demon invasion. The story is full of surprises and keeps you hooked with its deep lore and complex characters. The world is gorgeous, think lush forests, snowy mountains, and everything in between. It's like wandering through a beautiful fantasy novel. What's really cool is that your choices actually matter. You decide how the story unfolds and how characters react to you. It's awesome to see your decisions shape the game's world. You get to create your character with a ton of options. You can pick different classes and skills, making the combat both strategic and fun. But be warned, there's a lot to manage: skills, gear, stats, and all that. It can get a bit overwhelming if you're not into that kind of detail. Some parts of the game can feel slow, and there's a lot of talking. If you're more into action, the constant dialogue might drag a bit.
I closed that thing.
Overall, if you love deep RPGs with rich storytelling and a big world to explore, Dragon Age Inquisition is definitely worth playing. It's a grand adventure that'll keep you engaged and entertained.
Call it the breach. It grows larger with each passing hour.
Persona 5 Royal. Alright, let's dive into Persona 5 Royal. If you haven't played this one yet, get ready for a wild ride through high school life and supernatural adventures. You're playing as a high school student in Tokyo who's living a double life. By day, you're just trying to get through school, make friends, and survive your teachers. But by night, you and your group of fandom thieves are out to change the world, battling twisted, corrupted hearts in a surreal alternate realm known as the Metaverse. The story in Persona 5 Royal is a roller coaster. It's packed with drama, humor, and even a bit of romance. You'll meet all sorts of colorful characters, each with their own stories and struggles. Building relationships with them is one of the best parts of the game. Whether you're helping them out with their personal issues or just hanging out, it adds a lot of depth to the experience. The game's visual style is really striking, with a unique art direction that makes everything pop. The stylish menus, flashy combat, and vibrant characters all contribute to an unforgettable aesthetic.
How pretty!
Now, let's talk gameplay. The turn-based combat is super engaging. You're not just pressing buttons randomly, you've got to think about your moves, exploit enemy weaknesses, and use your persona's magical creatures that represent different aspects of your personality strategically. It's like a strategic puzzle mixed with cool, stylish battles. One of the standout features is how Persona 5 Royal expands on the original game. You get new story elements, additional characters, and a bunch of new activities to dive into. There's even a new semester to explore explore, which adds extra depth to the story. But as much as I love this game, there are a few things that might not be for everyone. The game's pacing can be slow at times and there's a lot of dialogue. If you're not into deep, story-driven games with lots of talking, it might feel a bit heavy. Also, the game is pretty long, so if you're short on time, be prepared for a lengthy commitment. Overall, Persona 5 Royal is a fantastic game if you're into rich stories, unique characters, and stylish gameplay. It's like diving into a high-energy anime with a compelling plot and lots of heart. If you enjoy games that mix everyday life with epic adventures, give this one a try. You won't be disappointed.
All yours! Go full power! Yeah! Here! Thanks!
Tales of Arise.
Rotating this one's mine!
Alright, let's talk about Tales of Arise. This game is a real treat if you're into action RPGs with a great story and fantastic combat. You start in a world where two planets are at odds, the oppressive Renans and the struggling Dawnan people. You play as Alphen, a guy with no memories who's determined to free his people from oppression. The story kicks off with Alphen teaming up with a girl named Shani, who has her own mysterious past. Together, they're on a mission to topple the Renan overlords and bring freedom to the world. One of the coolest things about Tales of Arise is its combat system. It's fast-paced and flashy. You're constantly moving, dodging, and attacking in real time. The game does a great job of mixing strategy with action, so you're always engaged in battles. You can chain together combos and unleash powerful abilities, making every fight feel intense and exciting. The graphics are stunning. The environments are vibrant and detailed, from lush forests to bustling cities. The art style is a big part of the game's charm, giving everything a lively anime-inspired look. The story and characters are well developed, the dialogue is engaging, and you get to know your party members pretty well. Each character has their own background and motivations, which adds depth to the story. However, there are a few things to keep in mind. The game's pacing can feel a bit uneven at times, with some parts dragging on a bit. Also, while the combat is exciting, it can get repetitive after a while. If you're not a fan of constant action and fighting, that might be a drawback. Overall, Tales of Arise is a fantastic RPG with a compelling story, great characters, and dynamic combat. If you love immersive worlds and thrilling battles, this game is definitely worth your time. It's a fun, engaging experience that's sure to keep you entertained. Monster Hunter World. Alright, let's dive into Monster Hunter World. If you haven't tried it yet, here's the scoop. This game is all about hunting down massive monsters in a beautifully crafted world. You're a hunter in a world where gigantic creatures roam freely. Your main goal is to track down these monsters and take them out. The game starts with you joining the Research Commission, a group dedicated to studying the wildlife of the new world. Your job? To hunt these monsters, gather materials, and uncover the secrets of this new land. The game is divided into missions that usually involve tracking a monster, battling it, and then carving up its remains for resources. These resources are used to craft better gear and weapons. Each monster hunt is like a mini adventure, finding clues, setting traps, and using your environment to your advantage. Monster Hunter World doesn't have a traditional story, but it does have a compelling narrative about the ecosystem and the balance between humans and monsters. As you progress, you'll encounter various characters and factions, each with their own goals and stories that add depth to the game world.
You ready? Get to your posts now!
The combat is a big highlight. You've got a range of weapons and tools at your disposal, and the fights are dynamic and challenging. You need to learn the monsters' patterns, prepare your gear, and strategize your approach. It's not just about hacking away at a beast, it's about outsmarting it. The world itself is gorgeous and full of diverse environments, from lush jungles to arid deserts. Each area is teeming with life and detail, making exploration a big part of the fun. On the flip side, the game can be a bit overwhelming at first with its complex mechanics and controls, and if you're not into grinding for materials or working through challenging hunts, it might not be your cup of tea. Overall, Monster Hunter World is an exciting and immersive game where you get to become a skilled hunter in a stunningly detailed world. If you enjoy strategic combat and exploring vast, vibrant environments, this game is definitely worth checking out. Well everyone, that was all for this video. Have a good day. I will see you later.